Hello my friends, welcome to a new week of meals. The beginning of this video is a little bit different. This is by far probably the hardest video that I've ever had to edit, and I'm getting emotional already. As you know, we lost our dear sweet Winston, you can see him in the background here, a couple weeks ago to the day. And I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who reached out and for all your love and support. We miss him dearly, and I'm going to try to put myself together to continue with the rest of this video. However, this first portion, the first meal I'm sharing with you, this is the meal that we prepared for Monday when our church group was coming over. And this was our last day with Winston. So little did we know. So cherish these little moments here where you see him in the little background. He was my kitchen buddy, always in the kitchen waiting for food to fall, just hanging out. You know, he was always there, so I dearly miss him so much. So, okay, I'm going to not narrate over this first meal. It's just a little bit hard for me, but I will be back in the next one. I'm going to link the recipe for this first meal, which is a Marsala chicken and mushroom casserole. I will link it down below so you can see exactly the steps and the measurements, and I will see you in the next meal. Thank you again so much for all your support, and I truly, truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
Honey, you are my fire. I want you to know that every time you're away, I long for you so much I can find my way. And I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise. That with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about. When it all breaks down, I'll wait for you right here. And I swear that we got nothing to fear. It's a miracle that you and I are finally here. I saw you walking the line, and the truth may come as a surprise. That with you I feel alive. You'll be the last one I think about. The last one I think about.
Okay, I am back with meals from this most recent week. I did take a week off of cooking since we did get very many generous gifts, food delivery, gift cards, so I wouldn't have to worry about cooking. But I am back with easy meals. I'm starting off with some ravioli that I got on clearance, and I'm just going to do quick, easy sauces. I just have arrabbiata for me, and then Colin's going to do his with just some butter. Rob is actually away at a conference, so very, very minimal cooking that I'm doing this week. So here we go. This is just some butter. It's like garlic butter that I made for the garlic bread that I'm going to do for me. Colin is trying to not eat as much bread, but then he saw mine and decided he was going to have some too. So this is mine that I did in the air fryer, just one little tiny slice for me. And then I go ahead and make more for him a little bit later. So I'm just taking some salt to some boiling water to get the ravioli started. This was, again, just right out of the freezer. I'm just going to cook it until it floats to the top and it's nice and cooked through. These are the 2 slices of sourdough bread that I put with the garlic butter. It's basically just minced garlic, some Italian seasoning, a little bit of salt. What else did I put in there? And some Parmesan cheese with the salted butter. So the ravioli is done now. I'm just going to strain this, put it in the bowl, and then I'm going to get to serving them. some butter just sort of shaved here. This was actually straight out of the freezer, so that was a little bit hard for me to slice. So they're kind of shaved into, well, these little pieces here. So that is just going to melt through because the pasta's nice and hot. And then I'm just going to pour a little bit of arrabbiata on mine, on my ravioli. I'm going to top it with some Parmesan cheese. And yeah, and we're pretty much ready to go. We're just going to serve this with our little garlic toasts. And that was the first meal of last week. Last Thursday was St. Patrick's Day, so we've got corned beef and cabbage. I'm just going to cook this up in the crock pot. Super, super easy, no real recipe for this, but I did have a corned beef brisket. I'm going to add some carrot and potato and cabbage, of course. So I'm just chunking these up into large chunks. I don't like my veggies real mushy or anything like that. So big chunks. I know it's going to cook for a really long time. I've got one large potato that I'm prepping. It's just me and Colin, so I mean, actually, that doesn't really play a part in it at all. I'm still cooking a very large portion, and we have been eating leftovers of corned beef and cabbage, but it's still really good. So here we go. I decided to go ahead and peel the potatoes. Initially, I was not going to peel them, but just decided to. So large chunks of potato, and then I'm going to chunk up the cabbage as well. I decided to cook just half of the cabbage here, so the other half I'm just going to put away for another meal, and then I'm going to just prep this, and then I'm going to rinse it really well, and then I will cut those in large chunks and kind of spread them out a little bit. Not too, I'm not going to try to fan out all the individual layers because I do want this to cook very gently. Again, I want some texture to the veggies, so this is what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to set that aside, put it in the fridge, and I'm going to add this to the crock pot just about an hour before I'm ready to serve. I'm just layering the potatoes and the carrots at the bottom of the crock pot, and then I'm going to put the corned beef on top of that. And right as soon as I did this and I had turned the crock pot on, I saw on Instagram, I follow Test Kitchen, which is like America's Test Kitchen, and they said, oh, the perfect way to cook a corned beef brisket in the crock pot is to put the beef down at the bottom. So I don't know. Anyway, it turned out fine, but I may try it the other way and see if it's any better, but this is what I'm doing here. So I've got the corned beef brisket on top. I'm doing the little seasoning packet that comes with it. I'm going to add some water with the beef bouillon, Knorr beef bouillon. You can use beef broth or beef stock if you have that, or just water. And actually, I don't even think you need to add water, I think, but anyway, I do. I add a little bit of beef bouillon to mine. So just until it almost covers the top, it's going to create some liquid anyway, and then I'm just going to pop the lid and then turn it on low and let that cook while I'm out and about. So I meant to cook this for only 6 hours. However, when I went to go pick up Colin from the gym, my car died. The battery died. We had to wait for roadside assistance to jumpstart the car, and so this ended up cooking for almost 2 hours, in which case I decided to unplug it and then put the cabbage in and just let that cabbage cook in the residual heat because I didn't want to keep it cooking for too long. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to kind of submerge all of the cabbage so it gets into the hot liquid. I'm actually going to take the corned beef and I'm going to place it on top of the cabbage to kind of weigh it down a little bit, and I'm just going to let that sit until we're ready to serve, which is pretty soon. I'm going to shred the corned beef as well just to make it a little bit easier to serve, and yeah, this is our corned beef and cabbage.
Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you.
do give it a little bit of a taste to see if it's salty enough or too salty. If it was too salty, I was going to add a little bit more water. But served this with rice for Colin. He just had like his little cups of minute rice that he served. I just ate mine as is. It does have potatoes in it already. So there's that shredded corned beef, and I'm just going to mix that around, and then we're going to serve it up for St. Patrick's Day.
I'll be right here. I swear that I'll stay here with you. Hold me closer. I wanna stay here with you. All that we have is each other now. I promise I won't leave your side. Be who you are and you'll be enough. If you're giving me your love, giving me your love.
Last up, super duper easy meal. I'm just taking my clearance Stonefire naan bread that I got, a pack of 2 for 50 cents. So I stuck those in the freezer. I pulled one package out, and I'm gonna make a little pizza here for Colin. He wanted half pesto and a half marinara, so the other half of this I did with the leftover arrabbiata. We still have a jar of arrabbiata in the refrigerator, so I'm still trying to go through that. You can see Miss Capri is with me. She's been sensing that her buddy is missing, so she's been really needy, and so we're sort of like she's my therapy dog and I'm her therapy human at this point, but we're getting through it together. So I'm just going to spread the pizza, quote-unquote sauce, the pizza sauce on the naan, and then I'm just going to top that with cheese. I actually did not have mozzarella. I had my sort of all-purpose Mexican shredded cheese blend, so I'm just going to use that, and then I'm going to top it with some other things like Parmesan cheese, some Italian seasoning, and then that's just going to go in the oven to cook.
Don't lose heart. I will find a way. The sky's gonna clear, the clouds will shatter. Just you wait and see.
And this is what it looks like after about 8 minutes in the oven at 400 degrees, just till it gets nice and crispy and the cheese is melted. But that's pretty much it, guys. When Rob came home, he did come home this particular evening, he served up the other piece of naan bread. He topped his with the same cheese, this time all pesto, and he added some pepperoncini and some goat cheese, and he gave me a bit of that for me to try, and it was absolutely delicious. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the meals this week. I really, again, just appreciate all of your support and all of your love, and I hope you guys, I know you guys will miss Winston too. I miss him in my videos, but have all those memories to look back on, and you'll be seeing a lot more Capri. There she is. I will see you in the next video. Take care until then.